Now, I don't know about the atheist community in general, but I think there are far more female vegetarians than there are male vegetarians, and I think there's an evolutionary foundation for this. We evolved as a hunter-gatherer society. Males were traditionally hunters and women were gatherers. So the women developed talent for browsing around and gathering vegetables, and the men developed a talent for hunting and a taste for meat. I think this behavior is still with us today. If you look at the difference in shopping habits between men and women, women will go browsing around, looking at the different colors. Men will find out what it is they want, hunt it down, get it, and leave. It's also the same way with the eating habits. Men are more prone to eat meat. This was our quarry all this time. We're hardwired in nature to eat meat, where women are hardwired in nature more towards a vegetarian existence. So people in general are hardwired by nature to eat meat, and that's what they're going to do. That's what an omnivore is. And have you ever tried to take a piece of meat away from a hungry dog? Eating meat is perfectly natural. I'm going to make that argument, and I couldn't help but think that the argument that you made against that wasn't really a valid argument. I mean, what if we were talking about being gay here? It's perfectly natural to be gay.
But you could also make, if you want to make that case that it's natural, then you could also make the case that rape and murder is natural. I don't think you'd be stupid enough to try to make an argument to justify rape and murder. Or if you are, then you're sick.
I know I'm an omnivore, but I'm happy. Now, food is one of life's great pleasures. You know, when I get one of those nice prime ribs from the Outback and I cut into that baby and put it in my mouth, it's like a food-gasm, you know what I mean? It really is. And no, I'd really like to see a vegetable do that. I just don't see it happening. Okay, swine flu, bird flu, all these diseases that come from animals. I don't think so. I've never had a flu shot in my life, and I've never had the flu. I think you're kind of wasting your time getting the flu shot. Exercise your immune system a little bit. You'll be okay. Trust me, you will. Meat production is inefficient. Absolutely true. But you know what? So are SUVs, cell phones, television sets, the video cameras that you use to make your videos are all part of a big, huge, inefficient system. I think you should look up a video called The Story of Stuff. I'll put a link to it in the sidebar for you. Yeah, to single meat out as being inefficient, you could say the same thing about your SUVs. Why not that? The real limit is a population limit. If we keep our population to a reasonable number, we should be able to eat meat sustainably. We've been doing it for millions of years. There's no reason why not. Now, as far as population goes, I don't think that we here in the West are really responsible for that. We may have been in the past, but that's changed quite a bit. My parents each grew up, they had 9 brothers and sisters each in their families. I had 4. My daughter has 1. We are reducing the growth of our population here in the West. The big population growth is coming in third world, a lot of it from Muslim countries where they hide the women away under burqas and turn them into Islamic baby factories. And as far as I'm concerned, we're not responsible for that. I think we should just plainly close our borders for them, continue to eat meat because it's delicious, and let them figure out how to feed their own kids. Okay, fish farming. Yeah, the way they do it with tuna fish isn't very good. They're basically capturing the fish before they're matured and feeding them fish that they go around and catch. There are better ways to do this. Catfish farming is actually a lot more efficient than that. I think salmon is better than that as well. We do need to look towards science for more efficient ways of farming fish and better management of the resources. Not totally doing away with eating fish as part of a vegetarian diet. You should actually be promoting this because fish don't have the same nervous systems that animals do. They don't feel pain the way a cow does or a chicken does or anything of that sort.
If you are truly indifferent to this, to how these animals are treated, I wouldn't want to know you personally.
Okay, animal cruelty. I hesitated to make the video because of this statement. You know, I watch all your videos. I really like your work. It makes me kind of sad to think that you wouldn't even want to know me just because I eat meat. Lots of people eat meat. Doesn't mean we're evil. I'm not a bad person. And I took a trip out to Chicago, and I went to the Lincoln Park Zoo. And they've got this really awesome primate exhibit. They've got gorillas and chimps and stuff like that. And I remember standing by the exhibit with the gorillas, and they had this beautiful silverback gorilla. And I don't know if you've ever been close to one of those, but you can look at that animal and you can look into his eyes, and you know, God, he's a man of the woods. That is not just another animal. That is a fellow sentient being. He is so much like us, and this you can see a light in his eyes, you know. And when I look into the eyes of a chicken, I see dinner. The same goes with a cow. These aren't sentient beings. These are animals that have been bred for production. They're there to make eggs and meat and dairy. They've been bred that way for millions of years. Well, I don't know, probably thousands of years. But yeah, it's not like we're eating sentient beings here. I'm not eating gorillas and dolphins. Did the cow live a happy life? Probably not, but it's not really the cow's job to live a happy life. It's the cow's job to be tender. I wonder if you put any thought into the economics of ending eating meat and meat production. Yeah, it's an inefficient way to get your food, but you've got millions of animals in production already. You can't just release these animals. For one thing, they've been bred to produce meat, eggs, and dairy. They're not really wild animals anymore. Many of them could not survive in nature, and those that could survive in nature would be invasive species almost anywhere you release them. To take, you know, the millions of chickens and millions of cows that we have, just release them into the wild would be an ecological disaster. You can't very well make retirement homes for them in Florida. Nobody's going to stand to have herds of cattle housed somewhere and fed for no particular purpose or reason. You can't do that. So you'd have to euthanize the animals anyways. And since we're going to kill them, why can't we just eat them? Ethanol. Yeah, that's a pretty stupid idea. I forget exactly where I heard it, but I had heard something that it would take almost 5 planet Earths in order to grow enough fuel to replace the fossil fuels that we use today. Yeah, someone was really wasn't thinking very well when they came up with that idea. Hunters. Okay, the problem I have with hunters isn't so much that they hunt. I'm okay with that, but I'll agree that all those weapons that they're using to hunt down their animals really isn't very sporting at all. I'd have a little bit more respect for, say, a bow hunter than I would for some guy with a high-powered rifle and scopes all over the place. But really, the problem that I have with most hunters is they can't connect the dots between the rifle in their hand, the NRA, and the weapons manufacturers and their lobbyists that keep us in a constant state of war. Just connect the dots. These people actually think that the NRA represents hunters. Yeah, that's about it. I just had a few thoughts I wanted to share with you. Yep, I'm a carnivore. Don't hate me for it. Peace. Bye-bye.